Hi, friends. This is Botanical Studies of Internet Magic, a podcast on the alchemy of creative power through the vessel and portal of the internet. My name is Kaning, and I'll be your guide. Hello again after a little while. I know I dropped off the map for the entire summer season. I was extremely distracted and immersed into the vortex of teaching 2 different courses, creative systems and sharing space camp, and in the internal, external, dimensional chaos that is being in summertime. I'm really happy to be here today because I have brought different processes from teaching courses into making this podcast. I've decided to experiment for the next couple of episodes with making visual slides as grounding anchors for my ideas. And if you'd like to see the slides, you can follow the link in the show notes. Today, I am super excited to introduce a new offering that I'm releasing at the end of September, and will be an ongoing offering all year, which is called Labyrinth Library. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through an itinerary or a syllabus for autumn season of Labyrinth, and it will be based off of the astrological energies of Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So we'll use that as archetypes to talk about how to navigate the unknown. I've been thinking about opening a seasonal community or some kind of teaching vessel for a really long time, more slow-paced and ongoing than teaching a course. And in thinking about what is the heart of my work that I won't get bored talking about for 4 seasons, it is definitely how to navigate and walk towards what you don't know, the unknown, how to be in a dance with uncertainty and be in the process of discovery even when it feels absolutely terrifying. I think this theme of uncertainty has been at the center and core and heart of my work because since quitting my first job, it's felt like leaving the paved path, the yellow brick road, to venture out into the jungle, to have to find your way and cut through thorns and figure out how to be in the wild, the wilderness of the internet, outside of social media platforms, the wilderness of creative work, outside of institutions, and climbing ladders of accolades and success and recognition. And most importantly, perhaps the inner wild, where you allow yourself to let go of structures that we inherited from our productivity, capitalist, cultural conditioning, and really be present to what is the energy in this moment today that wants to be channeled. The way that I think of my work is really about the alchemy of energy and the alchemy of resources in 4 different domains, starting from inner resources, inner energy, moving that into creations, the creative energy, taking form, taking shape in whatever medium or form of expression, moving that to digital ecosystems. So how do we share our work, allow it to be seen outside, and then transmuting into business energy, that is the offerings, making exchange of value, of flow of resources with the world through the internet. More and more, I see that my offering is the integration of these 4 domains. And so that's what we will be focusing on inside Labyrinth. I'm imagining this offering as having 2 energies, that of a library and that of a garden. So inside a library, we will have a 12-week seasonal itinerary with 12 artifacts that I'll release each week, including a workshop, a illustrated zine, and 2 mystery things per month. And then inside the garden, thinking of it as a community garden, we'll have discussion sessions, a community ecosystem hosted on Notion, shared journals, group chat, question threads, and spontaneous things. The first season of Labyrinth will start September 22nd, the beginning of Libra season, and end at the end of Sagittarius season. We'll take a 3-week break, and we will continue again in January. So today I want to talk about the 12-week itinerary that I will take you through in this coming autumn season. And autumn is my favorite season, so I'm so excited to work with these different energies. I am by no means an astrologer. I'm just a casual astrology fan, but I decided to use these astrological signs of Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius as archetypal themes to think about structuring the next 12 weeks, moving through different energies. The way I talk about astrology or tarot or gene keys or any kind of esoteric system is really to see it as a narrative, as a way of experimentation and playfulness with how we relate to ourselves and our energy. So Labyrinth is very much an ongoing co-creation process. I will design it alongside your presence and your questions, but today I want to outline and share some themes I've been thinking about for the 3 months of the season and examine and use as practice in navigating our relationship with uncertainty. So Libra season starts the first day of Labyrinth, September 22nd. And when I think about my Libra friends, when I think about the energy of Libra, I think about the practice of equilibrium. That is, how do we not only center ourselves in the face of total chaos, but how do we find spaciousness inside the eye of the storm? Your life, your creative work, your business, your way of being on the internet can feel like it's going through cataclysmic change and questioning and doubt and disruption. But to be in this energy is to be able to hold simultaneous truths at the same time, to be able to hold paradox and complexity without totally breaking. And this is such an extreme practice of mindfulness. This is what people sit for hours a day training themselves to do. How can we practice being light with the things that feel sometimes crushingly heavy? How can we practice detachment from the voices in our heads? Because Libra is air energy, the mind might always be chattering. I think that it normalizes the fact that we'll always be having 10,000 voices shouting at us at the same time. Maybe the work here is to allow ourselves space to give each voice a chance to be heard, to see all facets of an issue or problem or challenge. A couple of years ago, I wrote a post called "Truth is a Glittering Glacier." You can't see all sides of it at once. The sun is lighting some sides and the moon is lighting other sides, and then most of it is underwater. So what do you do when truth feels like a glittering glacier? How do you hold it? How do you be with it? And as a result, how do you find peace and balance and harmony and beauty with that complexity? How do you allow yourself to feel the intensity of everything and come back to center in what feels pleasurable and beautiful and present for you in this moment? When I think about my Libra friends, I am always in admiration of how they don't need to take a black and white approach to life or to anything. They have this artful way of holding different threads simultaneously and to allow themselves to be a self-balancing ecosystem. So during Libra season, we will work with themes of spaciousness, balance, equilibrium, being centered, and moving from indecision to integration, holding space for the different parts of yourself, whether that's in your creative practice or in building offerings or in how you show up on the internet. Then, starting in late October 23rd through November 22nd, we will begin the themes of Scorpio season. And I am a Scorpio stellium, so this is the season that I most anticipate and dread every year because things always happen during Scorpio season that feel incredibly hard and disruptive, and that's how it's supposed to be. During Scorpio season, we'll talk about the concept of waiting, biding your time. I think of Scorpios as waiting inside their cave. And metaphorically, this cave could be your website. It could be your creative practice. It could be your safety of feeling and being a hermit. How do we wait for the things that we desire? How do we draw it, magnetize it to us through invitation? How do we balance the need to hide behind the 7 veils and the need to control outcomes with the possibility of total surrender and transcendence? This season is all about working with boundaries, working with privacy, working with how much we reveal of ourselves, how much do we share, and to remember that at the center of this archetype is the possibility of death, rebirth, power, and eros. And these are such primal forces of the universe. During Scorpio season, we'll talk about creative power and personal power, and where do we feel like we have control and presence and potency in our power, and where do we feel triggered by the urge to hide and disappear. We'll work with the energies of desire and being desired, how to distill the energy of desire in your creative work, and how do you relate to intimacy with others. Whether it's with a stranger on the internet or with people you're collaborating with, or most importantly, with your own creative practice. And some themes and visuals that come up to me when I think about Scorpio is the veil, the cave, the tunnel, and the vault. So the vault is where we keep all of our secrets and resources and power and possibly never let anyone into. The tunnel is a dark place, the passageway between life and death. If anything, being a Scorpio, channeling this energy is having the courage to go where no one else wants to go, collect treasures from the abyss. The cave is where we feel safe to hide, and the veil is what we use to create a sense of opacity between ourselves and the world. At the same time, the veil is a representative of the thresholds between this life and the next one. If there's anything Scorpio energy is a guide for, it's the process of continual rebirths in the container of a single lifetime, which can be extremely painful and extremely powerful. Last, we will close our season starting November 22nd through December 21st, centered around Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius is mutable, changing fire. I think of it as throwing balls of fire around a forest and romping around as a half centaur, half human, shooting our arrows at the sky. If Scorpio is about death and rebirth and the painful process of shedding a skin, being the cocoon and evolving into something new, then Sagittarius is about being in the joy of the leap of faith, the exhilaration that you're feeling in this new life when you've given yourself a quest, whether that quest is a creative project or a new business or a new phase of life, to see it as a quest, to see it as an adventure, as something fun, as something to enrich and expand your world with new ideas, new possibilities. It's to see learning itself as an adventure. What I find beautiful about Sagittarius energy is allowing my dreams, my visions, my ideas to take up so much space, to dream so big and see if my body, if my reality can catch up with it. It takes courage to live on a dare, daring yourself to do something that you've never done before, to have this sort of shameless confidence when there's, of course, always so many voices in the back of our minds tripping us up, whispering little criticisms or voices of self-doubt. In Sagittarius season, we'll talk about what it means to be in a sort of unself-conscious, unfiltered creative flow, how to design quests and adventures that give you a sense of light and possibility. And this is the season that we'll dream about the next year, where we will practice gratitude for everything this season has brought us and revel and savor in the joy of flying through the air, chasing our dreams. I have a Sagittarius in Mercury, which is probably why I love talking about big ideas and imagining new possibilities and visions for my life, for what the internet could be for the artist in the digital age, for individual power and possibility. And so looking at this autumn season through these archetypal astrological lenses, starting with Libra, that is holding space for complexity, finding calmness and equilibrium in the eye of the storm, then moving to Scorpio, a death and rebirth, moving through passageways, gates, thresholds, liminal spaces, allowing parts of ourselves to die in order to make space for something new. And then Sagittarius, starting the winter season with a sense of joyful possibility of questing, I see these 3 signs as a journey through inner tension, rebirth, and new beginnings. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling this energy at heightened potency this particular year and holding my breath to see what each season will bring me. So I'm really excited to explore and deepen in each season's themes with you inside of Labyrinth Library. Thank you, friends, for being here and for listening. These next couple of episodes will be themed around navigating uncertainty. If you're interested in joining Labyrinth, you can see the link in my show notes. You can find more of my work, the courses I teach, on my website. I send a newsletter once or twice a month that you can sign up for. If you're curious about working with me one-on-one, I do advising sessions as well as a 3-month seasonal advising container called Liminal Leap. Thank you for being here. I hope this finds you well, and talk to you soon.